Yeah, I know the deal about not wearing the band shirt of the band that you're seeing. I guess the same thing applies to talking about a wrestling company. You should not wear the company that you're talking about when you're talking about them. I guess, sure. Sir and Disney here, it is Wednesday, and let's talk Impact Wrestling, shall we? As I wear my Tyler Breeze shirt. So, this was a week late. Why? Because they aired Slammiversary 2014, and I will be putting a link in the description bar to my recap from Slammiversary 2014. So, technically, I cover everything that way. So that being said, we're going to talk about Hardcore War. And Hardcore War was basically led with a pretty much lethal lockdown without the cage between Kurt Angle's team and Eric Young's team. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's talk about the show, shall we? Kurt Angle comes out with Chris Melendez. Chris is Angle's backup. He calls out the Rising. And, of course, that brings out Drew Galloway, Eli Drake, and Micah. The Beatdown Clan are a cancer, and they should team up to get rid of them once and for all. Drew says one day they will face off for the championship, talking about him and Kurt Angle, because he has to beat Kurt Angle to prove that he's the best. Angle's like, you know what? I'm not going to back down from any challenge. And here comes Eric Young. He consistently said he got screwed last week. He's owed a real title shot, and he deserves to be the champion. Kurt Angle can't beat him one-on-one. So Angle calls his bluff basically and says, okay, fine, you got your match, but it's going to be an I Quit match. Tonight it's going to be Hardcore War. Eric Young says Angle's team are nothing but losers. The Beatdown Clan attack from behind. Lashley runs out and he hits the murder death kill to Eric Young, and Lashley officially joins Angle's team. I like this opening. It worked really well because it really made the main event seem important. And there's a lot of different storylines going on at the same time. And now Lashley making his return officially to the company is nothing but a good thing for TNA right now. And say what you want about the company, what's been going on lately, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But by and large, this was a great way to prove how important that the main event was and how crucial it was for Kurt Angle to team with whomever he had to team with in order to get rid of Eric Young and the Beatdown Clan once and for all. So, we got our first match. Tag team action, Knockouts tag team action. The team of Rebel, no longer with the Menagerie. Actually, Mike Tenay on commentary. It was a very well-missed Mike Tenay on commentary with Josh Matthews. Basically said that they pretty much went back to the circus life. So, there's no more Nux. I know Crazy Steve is still working for the company. He'll actually be a part of May Mayhem, which is going to be this Friday on Destination America. But we're not necessarily talking about that yet. We'll talk about that in a minute. Rebel teaming up with Brooke. So yeah, very, very attractive ladies involved in this match, without a doubt. So Jade and Marty Bell come out, representing the Dollhouse, of course, with the TNA Knockouts champion Taryn Terrell looking gorgeous as ever. And they do not come out to the pretty much Dollhouse of the Damned theme from Halloween Horror Nights 24. No, they actually come out to the real Doll Part song by Courtney Love's band Hole. And I think it's epic. The entrance is absolutely epic, and I think it works really well. So Jade and Marty attack at the bell, while Rebel does a split to get in the ring, and of course they mock her after they knock Brooke and Rebel off the ring apron. So, let's go to the finish, shall we? Basically what happens here is they drag Jade to the corner after Jade is picked up and a powerbomb is countered into a facebuster, the do not powerbomb Billy Kidman spot from Brooke. Jade gets dragged to the corner, and Rebel gets tagged in. She heads to the middle rope, and she does her literal split leg drop, which misses. Ducks the shot. Jade and Marty with a tandem crucifix bomb, which kind of like the T gimmick without the leg lift and forward kick. And you know what I'm talking about if you remember the Backseat Boys. But, yeah, that's basically what happened to Brooke. Double spinning back kick, double front kick. Yeah, it's like Neville's moves, but as a tandem. Tandem Crucifix bombed a Rebel, and that's the end of that. So Dollhouse win this match. Taryn says this is not all fun and games. Gil might want to pay attention because she's had playtime with her family, and she'll show up later exactly what that means. I like the Dollhouse. I do. I understand the utilization of Marty Bell and Jade as basically the lackeys for Taryn Terrell, and I completely understand why that's the wrong thing to do. But if you make them a cohesive unit, I think that actually works in the long run. And I'm really curious to see where we go with this Taryn Terrell-Gail Kim feud. So the Beatdown Clan and Eric Young are discussing the plan. There's no homicide tonight, but Eric Young basically says, if you think I'm crazy, wait till you see who my partner is. Building up the fact that there will not be homicide involved in the Beatdown Clan in the Hardcore War, and Eric Young has handpicked a crazy person to be the final participant in the Beatdown Clan team. So Ethan Carter III comes out with Tyrus. Carter, of course, still on the kick of representing the fact of hopes and dreams of the majority. Not the minority, the majority. The top 5 is red, white, and bullcrap. It's a conspiracy that he's not ranked number 1. Here comes Mr. Anderson out with a chair. He wants to fight. He's already had a match cleared. If he can beat Tyrus, he gets one-on-one with Ethan Carter III. Carter refuses and basically says, you know what? I'm not going to do this. I don't have to prove myself to you. And Anderson calls him out and says, are you going to remain a huge bitch? Tyrus says, I got your bitch right here. And we actually get our match here. It is Mr. Anderson and Tyrus. We pick it up off the midway point here. The big ending basically connects for 2. 2 big headbutts for 2 on Anderson. Anderson fights out. Mic check is countered. Powerbomb from Tyrus. 1-2 and a kick out. So EC3 grabs a chair and Hebner tosses him. Anderson plays possum, and the Tongan death grip basically countered into the mic check, and Anderson wins. It was funny because they were talking about somebody named Brodus, and Josh Matthews says, don't say Brodus around Tyrus, which is kind of funny, obviously given the former identity of Tyrus. Magnus comes out, he refuses to apologize to James Storm. He said he's a sick SOB. He wants Storm in the ring right now. The music of the Revolution hits, and he's greeted by Abyss. Abyss basically says there are consequences, and those consequences are Abyss. So they brawl ringside. Magnus posts Abyss twice. Abyss finally gets the upper hand and goes for a choke slam, but Magnus uses barbecue tongs to the groin. And Manic comes out to try to even the odds for the Revolution, and Magnus fights both men off. Koya comes out with the walking stick that James Storm gave him, and he dims the running lights of Magnus. They mug him, and Abyss choke slams him, and this is all done in the name of their leader, James Storm. I like this. I like the Revolution a lot. I really wish there was another credible person in it, but, I mean, it is what it is. The storyline with Magnus and James Storm, let's just say hits home. It really does in some ways. In ways I'm not talking about on here, but I will say that I like the direction they're going with this. I think it works quite well, and I think it's going to continue to work quite well. So we get our best of 5 series, match number 1, to determine the brand new TNA World Tag Team Championships title holders. Currently held by Vacant. Vacant's been a champion a lot lately. Abeyance and Vacant have been champions a lot more than anyone else lately. The Vacant championships would be determined between this best of 5 series between the Dirty Heels, the It Factor, Bobby Roode, and the greatest man who ever lived, A-Double Austin Aries, taking on the team of Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards, the Wolves. So yeah, this match was really good, really great back and forth match to kick off the series. And we'll pick it up off the midway point. Creeping Death is ducked. Aries hits the rolling elbow. Aries comes off the ropes. Eddie comes in. They hit the pop-up kick. They set up the Force of Nature, which is the powerbomb lung blower that we actually saw on another wrestling program over the weekend. Rude pulls Davey out of the ring, and Aries with a Rana on Eddie Edwards sends him to the floor. Heat-seeking missile to both members of the Wolves. Rude tosses Davey in. Aries heads up top for the missile dropkick. And Rude whips Aries for the IED to Davey, and Aries tosses Davey in at Rude, and instead of going for the spine buster, he gets caught with a sunset flip. 1, 2, 3, and the match is over. So the Wolves would go up 1-0 on the Dirty Heels, and after the match is over, obviously there's respect between the two, so I'm enjoying every second of this. And this series is going to be phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Two great teams. I mean, this is going to be the new tag team matches. Like, to go back to the days of Beer Money and the Motor City Machine Guns. And even going back to the AMW Naturals feud in the early days of TNA. Yeah, I really enjoy this. And their tag team division, spot on, amazing. The Rising are backstage. They have 2 spots, so Drew Galloway picks Micah and says Eli Drake basically has to sit on the sidelines tonight. Angle, Lashley, and Melendez arrive. They have to beat the Beatdown Clan by any means necessary, and that's pretty much the end of that. So, Taryn, Jade, and Marty are having like a little slumber party. It's getting kind of hot in the Impact Zone. A little pillow talk for her DFF's Dollhouse Friends Forever. While Gail was out playing wrestler, I decided to spend some quality time with her stepdaughters. And then she shows a sneak peek of what she has for Gail's husband, Robert Irvine, later on in the night. So, in the back, James Storm is yelling at the members of the Revolution. He says, I didn't ask you to attack Magnus. Let me deal with this on my own. This is between Mickey and I. Don't get involved, and don't let it ever happen again. I like this a lot. So, we get the Dollhouse coming to the ring. Jade and Marty are in lingerie. Taryn's wearing a robe, which means she's going to have something even more, like, revealing on underneath. The Dollhouse are about creating fantasies, and that's all they're ever going to be for any of the fans. They're simply put, more than wrestlers, they're something special. So, then Taryn shows 2 really awkward pics with Gail's stepdaughters, amongst massive boos from the crowd. Kind of sounds like a little bit like it could have been piped in a little bit, that's how much heat. But then again, it's possible. She asked for the lights to be lowered, then the spotlight, and then some generic, like, adult music, and Taryn reveals some very sexy pink, black, and white lingerie, which Gail comes out and says, this is ending right now. You want to make this personal. You've already done this. You just crossed the line right now. And Marty's like, well, you've interrupted our story time. You're such a buzzkill, Gail. We're just simply playing. And Gail's like, you know what? All this aside, you want to prove yourself, you want to prove that you're the tops in TNA, you got to beat me, and you basically leads to Gail fighting off the Dollhouse by herself, and that's the end of that. So, building more towards Taryn Terrell and Gail Kim, which does end up happening this Friday on Impact, but we'll talk about that at the end of the show. Robbie E comes out, and he's baby-facing it up, and Mr. Pectacular, Jesse Goddard, makes his non-bromance match against his former bromance partner. Robbie E's out to his old music, back when he was television champion. Jesse has new music. And basically this match is real quick. Takedown, Oklahoma roll, 1, 2, 3. Jesse's like, I want a rematch. This ain't gonna go that way. So then it happens again. Takedown, and Robbie with a drop toe hold in the Oklahoma roll this time around. Actually, it's a LaMahi straw cradle this time, and he gets a 3 off that. He says, my tights weren't tied up, which is technically true, because his tights may have been untied. Who knows? I don't want to think about that. They work for about a minute. Robbie hits a crucifix roll-up, gets a 3 count. Match over. Jesse attacks from behind his former bromance partner and press slams Robbie over the top rope to the floor. Uses the chair as a necktie and rams him into the ring post and leaves Robbie E laying. The feud between the former bromans is just starting in Impact. And I like this because I'm a big fan of Robbie E. I've always been a fan of Robbie E's work. Jesse's taken a little bit to grow on me. He hasn't really shown me much, but he's got amazing strength, and that's going to help him in the long run. So, Mr. Anderson has someone building a cage. Why? Because the matchup that's going to be happening this Friday on Impact with Ethan Carter III, he needs to make sure Tyrus doesn't get involved. So he's erecting a cage in order to put Tyrus in there so he does not get involved. 10-1 says he gets involved anyway. Main event time. It is Hardcore War Lethal Lockdown without the cage. It is the Beatdown Clan represented by MVP, Low Ki, Kenny King, Eric Young, and their final partner ends up being Bram. And they take on the team that Kurt Angle handpicked of himself, Micah of the Rising, along with Drew Galloway, the leader of the Rising, Lashley, and Chris Melendez. So Galloway and Low Ki started off with pipes. One has PVC pipe and one has a lead pipe. Drew has the lead pipe, and there's a PVC pipe for Low Ki, and they go back and forth for a while. He picks up Low Ki, drops him hard across the barricade throat first. Kenny King comes out for the Beatdown Clan, and I believe he had a golf club. So King works over Galloway, and Micah comes out to even the odds. Eric Young comes out with a garbage can lid out for the Beatdown Clan team. Nails Micah and Drew, who is tied to the Tree of Woe at this point. And Eric sets up Micah for a superplex in the corner while Drew is hanging upside down. So he decks both with the lid over and over again. And Drew ends up German suplexing Young while Young is superplexing Micah. A Tower of Doom spot done completely different. So I like that. All men are down. Kurt Angle comes out next, and he's got a nightstick. He decks Eric Young, and then he nails Low Ki, and then a German suplex to Kenny King. 3 of the locomotion style, and Angle and Young brawl outside. We go back from commercial break. MVP and Chris Melendez have joined the match. And King suplexes Drew McIntyre. Oh, I gotta stop doing that. Galloway on the floor. Bram completes the BDC team and starts caning Galloway with the Singapore cane he brings in. And then one for Micah. The heels basically are in control. Lashley comes out and he just officially starts the match because the match beyond cannot begin until all 10 participants are out. And that's exactly what happens there. Right away, Lashley starts working over Bram, and then Eric Young attacks him from behind. Murder, death, kill to Showtime. Over-the-shoulder power slam to Kenny King. MVP with the Singapore cane. He starts working away on Lashley, and then Lashley takes it away, and MVP with a big boot gets a near fall off of that one. Play of the day countered, murder, death, kill, and Bram rakes the eyes of Lashley. Cane shot to the head. The brighter side of suffering connects. Micah comes in, and the big ending to Bram. Kenny King with the springboard flying guillotine to Micah, and Drew with the sick kick to Kenny King. We're going finishers galore here. Galloway hits a tope con hilo on Micah. Key, MVP, and Bram on the floor. Angle heads up top, dives on everybody, and Eric Young rakes the eyes of Chris Melendez. Clothesline, a big boot from Melendez. He's in charge right here. Gets a near fall off of that whipping. He ducks his head. He gets pile driven into the canvas by Eric Young, and officially Eric Young's team win. After the match is over, he decks Hebner. He rips off Melendez's prosthetic leg. Angle gets up in his face like, "What are you doing?" And he decks Angle with the leg of Melendez. He locks Melendez in a camel clutch with his own leg. And not Melendez in this case, he had Angle in the camel clutch with Melendez's own leg, and he basically says, "Say I quit, say I quit." And Matthews gets the line of the night and says that after doing this, Eric Young is a disgusting SOB. So yes, that is the end of Hardcore War. What I liked on the show, let me say, I'm always a fan of beautiful ladies, especially ones that can work. I'm really curious to see where we go with Gail Kim and Taryn Terrell. I think it's going to be fun. And Rebel and Brooke as a team, I actually like that. They got the Texas background. I think it works. I think you might as well put them together as call them like the Southern Bells or something. I think that would work. Or the Lone Star Sweethearts. Bingo! That's it. That's what we're going to call them. We're going to call Rebel and Brooke the Lone Star Sweethearts. I like that. That sounds good. There's a nice ring to it. Mr. Anderson on a collision course with EC3. I like this. Obviously, this is still building to EC3 before 2015 is over. Saying and doing something that I predicted months ago, and that is winning the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. The first match between the Wolves and the Dirty Heels comes out without a hitch. I like this because the finish came out of nowhere. The IED in, and it looks like it was going to transition into the spine buster from Rude, and it goes into a sunset flip instead, and they get the near fall right there, and they win the match. Not from the near fall, they win the match, obviously, with the the sunset flip. I thought that worked really well. Can't wait to see where the rest of the series is going. And I really enjoyed this. I like the feud between the former bromans. I think that's actually going to go over really well. And the main event was good for what it was, but it was missing a cage. Why didn't it have a cage? Well, that's because we're getting a cage match this week on Impact. What are we talking about? We're talking May Mayhem. This Friday on Destination America, you will see for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship an I Quit match. There must be a winner. Kurt Angle defends against Eric Young. And we're also going to see the second of the Best of 5 series between the Wolves and the Dirty Heels for the vacant TNA World Tag Team Championships. You're going to see Taryn Terrell defend the Knockouts Championship in a 6 sides of steel match against Gail Kim. And another match that is going to be huge, X Division Championship Gauntlet, which also makes the fact that Kenny King being the champion gets to have champion's advantage and go in last. He will be defending against former champion Rockstar Spud, DJ Zema Ion, Tigre Uno, Mark Andrews, Mandrews, Crazy Steve makes his return to television, and yes, Manic and from AAA, Argos. So yes, that's going to be happening this week on Impact in 2 days. Quick programming note, tomorrow, brand new Sip and Snack. Coming your way, Friday, AJ's Movie Reviews will be tackling Aloha and San Andreas along with the Human Centipede final sequence. Yes, that's going to be coming up on Friday. Gaming with Ash returns on Saturday. Brand new verses on Sunday. Your Cryptic Comment is haunting Monday. Of course, normally we go right into Monday, but Sunday night, something very special, obviously, is going to be the next WWE Live Popcast. With Aaron and Ashley, we're going to talk Elimination Chamber. Monday, of course, will be the archive of that Popcast. And on Monday night will be Raw and the Raw Popcast at 11:30 p.m. But we will probably run late because we are preparing for the Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast with Paul Heyman as a part of it. So yeah, once that ends, we'll go live. Probably be a lot later than normal, but trust me, it will be worth it. Tuesday, your archive will go up on that. Wednesday, brand new Impact and NXT recap. We're going to go back to NXT and Impact, put them together in one video. Thursday, brand new Sip and Snack, which also leads to Friday, a brand new edition of AJ's Movie Reviews. We will be talking about Insidious Chapter 3, as well as Entourage and something else that doesn't need to be mentioned. Brand new Gaming with Ash on Saturday, brand new Versus on Sunday, and Halloween Horror Nights news is imminent. Yes, I'm guessing next week that the first house on both coasts will be announced, and I think that means it's going to be a tad bit insidious. So that being said, if you like these videos, tell your friends about them, leave a comment, do subscribe, help spread the word about Pop. If you haven't yet, go to Facebook, click like on our Facebook fan page, Sir Owen Disney Pop. Follow me on Twitter at Sir Owen Disney. While you're at Facebook, you can friend request me at Owen Disney. And last but certainly not least, if you want to ask me questions that I can't answer on here for good reason, if you want to travel advice, you can do that. Disney, Universal, Halloween Horror Nights. If you want to give ideas for Sip and Snack or Versus or the Vlog of Randomness, which is on sabbatical right now, but it'll be back very soon. Or if you'd like to become a podcaster yourself. And last but certainly not least in this case, if you have a wrestling or theme park podcast and you'd like Sir Owen Disney to be a part of it, send me an email, sirowen@gmail.com. So in the meantime, I want to thank you guys and girls out there for watching. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all I got to say about that.